Hi there, Ms. Schmidt here, and I'm back for a little bit of extra art foundation work for you. This is a project that I'm not going to do in its entirely with you because it is a portrait and a very specific type of self-portrait where we're trying to go a little bit more for realism. But I did want to give you a helpful tip in terms of drawing your faces when you are creating this type of art. So you can see I already started sketching out a start to a face. I'm using a regular pencil. A lot of times when I'm doing art or just regularly writing, I like using a mechanical pencil, but when we're doing this type of art, what I'm going to show you today, we really want to use a regular pencil or even something softer than a number 2 lead because we're going to be getting our fingers a little messy and working on shading. So you can see that I sort of started with an outline here. Very quickly, I'm just trying to give ourselves a face shape to work with. And as we're doing our face shape, we're, kind of considering what our face will look like, kind of the general shapes that we would see on there. So we get that face in there. When you're trying to draw a face, you really want to have kind of a center point, and you want to think about how the face is round. So you think about how your head is kind of a sphere. You're going to want your nose to come out and show that sphere. And I'm kind of going off from where I was, but just to try and give you an idea of how you're going to add these features in. So I have my nose in here, and then I also have my eyes. Now eyes, when we talk about eyes, we tend to talk about them being circles and ovals because in rudimentary art, when we're first learning, we're thinking about them in very basic shapes. But your eyes, if you look at them and you take a mirror, aren't really that round. They're very much almond shaped or kind of teardrop shaped. So they don't have that perfect circle look. They're very much, and everybody's eyes are different. So when you're drawing a self-portrait, you really want to be focusing on what your eyes look like and what shape your eyes are, because they're going to be different than mine and different than, other people that you might be drawing. So I'm quickly gonna just draw these eyes in, and there's quite a few imperfections that I'd like to go back and fix. But in the interest of time, we're gonna kind of let their imperfections ride right now. You can tell that I'm sketching. Oh, this one's much higher than the other. But again, we're trying to get that basic idea, that idea of, what they should look like. And we use that pencil. We make sure we have an eraser handy. So I'm quite close to the edge of the face here. I'm going to stop fiddling with it though. I'm going to let the imperfections be because I do just want to show you, the purpose of this video is to show you this kind of trick that will help you in making more realistic paintings or drawings, excuse me. So, and then I have my chin. Now, what I really want to show you on this is going to be, and imagine there's some bangs here and some hair. Okay, so we have our general idea of what this person looks like. We're gonna add some eyes in there so she doesn't look like a zombie. Little glimpse of, okay, so she has her eyes and stuff like that. Now, really the main reason that I'm trying to show this to you right now is not for a perfect sketch, because I'm certainly not there right now. But what I want to show you is a way that you can shade your art so that when you do take your time in creating those perfect shapes and making sure everything's lined up, you can shade it in order to look like an actual artist. So when you shade, similar to how we do with our markers, you'll notice that our pencil is a perfect triangle, and we're going to use the side of the pencil. A lot of times when we're writing, we tend to hold our pencil upright. We're really going to hold far back on that pencil so that we can get the side of it. And so I'm going to start on the neck, and I'm just going to use the side of my pencil to kind of get that shading, because that's a place, if you can see on my neck right now, where you really do have some shading. So I'm going to use the side of my pencil. You can see the difference in it being the side rather than being the top between this line and these. And then once I get this kind of started in, I'm going to take my finger, best tool I have, and I'm going to kind of spread that shadow out and move it around to give my artwork a little bit more. And then I'm going to go over it again one more time using the side of that pencil, really getting those shadows in there. And this involves maybe having a mirror, maybe doing this in the bathroom or in a bedroom, somewhere where you have a mirror, so you can kind of focus on getting that in. So I have my neck. I know that if I have shadows on both sides of my neck, so I'm also going to, with the side of my pencil, remember that means holding back pretty far on your pencil and adding those shadows in. And, you know, again, using that finger to really pull that out of there. Okay, this does get a little messy on your paper, and that's all right. So we have our neck, and our neck is, you know, kind of looking a little different than our face right now, because it's the only thing that's in grayscale. But when you finish your paintings, that's really what you're going to look for, or your drawings, excuse me. I keep saying paintings for some reason. I'm in a different universe here. So now I have these lips, and again, I would probably, knowing me, spend about an hour fiddling with these, but I just want to show you how much different it looks when you're able to use these shadows to complete your work. And something that it's specifically very helpful for is the nose. Now, our faces, I'll take these off, rare that you see me without these, but our faces have these shadows that come up and around our nose into our eyebrows. And that's what signifies to people looking at you that this nose is sticking up off from your face. So when you're creating your shadows for your nose, people have a tendency to want to draw a triangle in there, but there isn't a triangle. Our nose isn't a triangle. Mine looks like one because of my glasses, but it's really that shading that goes up and around that gives you that appearance of that nose. It's not that your nose is a strong line that's on your face. Your nose is part of shadows that is being created because it sticks up off from your face. It's three-dimensional. So you add that in order to make your nose look like it's coming off. Okay, and it often those shadows go up into your eyebrows. You're going to use short lines for the eyebrows. But those shadows are what's going to really, even, you know, under our nose, and, you know, this would normally be lined up. I'm not going to tell you all the things that I feel is, you know, not up to par. But even under our nose, we have these shadows because it's sticking up off from our face. That makes sense. So we want to add those in. And, you know, once you start adding those shadows, even this drawing that I, you know, wasn't very perfect before, starts to come a little bit more to life when you start seeing those different shadows that are on your face. So you start to feel like this nose is popping up off from your face. You start to feel like your eyes and your cheeks, you know, a lot of us, we don't like to admit it, but a lot of us have these shadows coming under here. That's because our eyebrows tend to be a little bit farther out on our face than the bottom of our face. So it casts the shadow, especially when you're lit by something above you. So you're going to add those shadows underneath, and you don't want to use a hard line because you don't want those lines to stay. You want those shadows to stay. And then, of course, you know, our eyes are a bit darker, so you add that. Leave some light sources in those. Let them, you know, show some life in you. And you can start noticing, and then this is usually quite dark, so I do hold my pencil a little tighter so I can get that dark in the center. But you'll start noticing that these shadows really do start bringing you a little bit more life to your image. So I do challenge you, scholars, and you know, I'll add some shadows in here along the side of my face. I do challenge you to look in a mirror, see where your shadows are. If you're feeling like you're a pretty qualified artist and you focus a lot on art and you make a lot of different pieces, challenge yourself to do something a bit harder, a bit different, and really challenge yourself to start this shading process, because all you need to practice, and one of the easier things to practice at home, is a pencil and your finger and a piece of paper, and you have those. So, you know, a piece that I was pretty, you know, not impressed with at first, and I'll add these eyebrows. Remember, your eyebrows are little pieces of hair, so they should have little pieces of hair. Don't just draw a weird line for your eyebrow. That's not what your face looks like. So when you're trying to go into this type of art, be thinking, what does your face honestly look like? I mentioned in another piece that I was doing that a lot of people tend to think that, you know, if you draw eyelashes on someone, that it's automatically a lady, and it's just not true. So if you're challenging yourself to, that line was a little too dark. If you're challenging yourself to this type of art, draw those eyelashes in. It's gonna be those little pieces that make you look all the more realistic. And that's gonna be what, you know, brings your piece to life. So look in the mirror, maybe take a picture of yourself if that's easier for you, and really focus on where the shadows are on your face, what areas you should make darker, and what areas should be lighter, because, you know, it may also mean that you go in with your pencil and like erase something if it's a lighter piece to your face. But, you know, there are so many shadows that make up our face, and if you can practice this, oh my goodness, the art that you can create is just endless, because it really does start bringing you to life a little bit more. So scholars, please try this. I'm always willing to help if you want to reach out or comment on this, and looking for a little bit more guidance on how this works. We can certainly get there. You know, and again, she still doesn't have all her hair. She's still just a prototype, but um, be working on those shadows, because it really will add so much more to your art if you can kind of master that skill. So that's all for Art Foundations today, and really get yourself set up to challenge and get better and do something a little bit different that might be outside your comfort zone. Have a great day.